Hey, good evening, Crime Crunchies. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Courtney C., and we are Crime Crunchies, and you are my true crime hungry Crunchies. As we get going, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. As always, all of that hullabaloo. All right, you guys, I am coming to you this evening because there is some late breaking news, major breaking news in the Nancy Guthrie missing case. We are on day 26, and God bless the Guthrie family. I am still praying for them. Of course, we had the Savannah Guthrie Instagram video the other day where they have increased the reward to up to $1 million. And really, this is not for the capture and conviction so much of the person who is behind the disappearance of her mother, but really the reward is really for the return of her mother in whatever condition she is, the recovery of Nancy Guthrie. But tonight we have breaking news. There is ring cam footage from a home outside of the original canvas search area. And this person has come forward with this ring cam footage, has not been visited by the Pima County Sheriff's Department up to now, except we do hear that either Pima County Sheriff or FBI has now approached the neighbor's home. So let's take a look again at the timeline. Make myself a little bit smaller because this is going to be very important, and this is why this ring cam footage is so important tonight in the Nancy Guthrie case. So again, let's just go back through January 31st, 2026 at 5:32 p.m. Nancy travels to her daughter's home in an Uber. 9:48 p.m. Family has dropped Nancy off back at her home. The garage door opens. 9:50 p.m. The garage door closes. And here we go into the morning of February 1st, 2026. The doorbell camera disconnects at 1:47 a.m. We know that that is exactly when we see the Walmart Wrangler approach Nancy Guthrie's front door and her ring cam. 2:12 a.m. Software detects a person on camera. No video available at this time. There's no subscription, we know, to the Nest door camera. But at 2:28 a.m., the pacemaker app shows disconnection from Nancy's phone. 2:28 a.m. And this is the very important time at Nancy Guthrie's house. And again, we have ring camera footage from a home on the outskirts of Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood the morning of the abduction. And this is from a neighbor outside of the 2-mile radius. So let's watch this video from Fox News. Let me make it nice and large, and let's take a look at this. I don't think that there's any audio on this. Here is a vehicle. And the time stamp is in the morning. This is a few minutes long. Let's watch this. There's a couple cars going past. And the neighbor says it's not unusual for, there's another vehicle. It's not unusual for vehicles to be going up and down the street at this time. I think this was a Saturday night to Sunday morning. So again, not unusual. But there are cars seen at a high rate of speed going back and forth. All right. I'm gonna pull this down. I want to read this article. Let me take this down. All right. So this is per Fox News Digital. Let's take a look at this. So exclusive, Tucson, Arizona, and this is from today, just a couple hours ago. A resident in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood has a street-facing Ring camera that caught 12 cars passing by on the morning of Nancy Guthrie's suspected abduction. The recordings took place between midnight and 6 a.m. on February 1st, and some of the activity occurred near the 2:30 a.m. mark, which is around the time authorities said the 84-year-old Guthrie's pacemaker device last synced with her iPhone. All right, and again, looking at the timeline, at 2:28, the pacemaker disconnects from the phone. So going back to this article, the homeowners, Elias and Danielle Stratagulius, told Fox News Digital that police had not canvassed their neighborhood in the 25 days since Guthrie is believed to have been taken from her bed in a home invasion kidnapping. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been alerted to the video. It was not immediately clear whether the video is of any use to the investigation or whether the vehicle had ever been on Guthrie Street. Guthrie is the mother of today's co-host, Savannah Guthrie, a Tucson native. The Stratagulius house is on a back road that leads out of Guthrie's neighborhood, avoiding major intersections. And they live about 2.5 miles away from the crime scene, which is outside the 2-mile radius of neighbors who received a ring alert asking for video taken from January 1st to February 2nd. Their house is roughly a 7-minute drive from Guthrie's address, according to Google Maps. One of their videos was recorded at around 2:36 on February 1st, which is roughly 8 minutes after Guthrie's pacemaker last synced with her iPhone, according to the sheriff's timeline. Daniel Stratagulia said the number of cars passing that night was not unusual, but she and a friend found it odd no one from law enforcement had visited her neighborhood. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been alerted to the video. It was not immediately clear whether it was of any use to the investigation. The rewards are still outstanding, and anyone with information. The route itself had been flagged to Fox News Digital by another neighbor who said she also saw a suspicious man walking in the area on February 2nd around the corner from what appeared to be an abandoned car. The young mother asked not to be named due to concerns for her children's safety amid the unsolved kidnapping investigation. She described this man as about 5'9" tall, Hispanic with a close-trimmed beard and wearing a silver bracelet. He was smoking a cigarette near the intersection of Camino Juan Paisano and Piedra Seca, which is between Camino Real and Guthrie's home. The Pima County Sheriff's Department did not return multiple phone calls and emails about the man or the vehicle, a dark red Honda SUV that the neighbor said was moved after 3 days. So here is this dark red Honda near Camino Real on February 2nd, the day after Nancy Guthrie's suspected abduction, which is interesting because I was watching another show, and I mean, it could have been a Honda CRV, or somebody thought that there was a Kia Soul. An unidentified man was spotted in mid-January, according to neighbor Aldine Meister. He didn't have your typical walking gear on, and he had his hat pulled really far over his eyes. She said she saw the man walking in the neighborhood near an intersection leading to Guthrie's home and hadn't encountered him before or after. So here's deputies examining a flyer taped to Nancy Guthrie's mailbox on February 22nd. This is regarding a man walking near this other neighbor at an intersection. She said he was kind of younger. He just didn't look like he was going out for a walk, she added. She mentioned it to her husband, but did not report it to investigators until after Guthrie's disappearance. So, again, it looks like there are people who have been seeing different things outside of the 2 mile radius of the original canvassing. Daniel Strategoulias told Fox News Digital that she did see deputies searching what locals call a wash, a common terrain feature in the region near her office, which is on Skyline Drive, another main road that borders Guthrie's development. North Campbell, which was extensively searched by authorities and volunteers, connects to both main arteries. Camino Real connects only to East River Road. I think it sounds smart. And if they even sort of knew the area or actually cased the area beforehand, the road behind Camino Real and Camino Escuela would be an even better idea, she told Fox News Digital. There's never anybody on it and never a police car to be seen. Campbell also runs past the University of Arizona and is a much busier road, she said. It's always buzzing, even on a Saturday night, she added. Camino La Brinca and Camino Piedra Seca are also lead to Camino Real, and they're a good way to get from Camino Zorella. Guthrie is believed to have been forcefully abducted from her home on North Camino Escalante, according to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. In more than 3 weeks, police have not publicly identified any suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles connected to the case. They briefly detained, but later released several people. And of course, here is the Walmart Wrangler, who I call the Walmart Wrangler, who's caught on doorbell images. So let's take a look at a map. Here is the map of Nancy Guthrie's home. Camino Real is where the camera, the ring cam caught the car. North Campbell Avenue is a really busy street coming from Nancy's home to East River Road, and Camino Real would be a quieter way for somebody to leave the area but still connect to East River Road, which is a main thoroughfare. So definitely this is a big deal. Let me see. I think that there was another video I wanted to watch here quickly that should be interesting. Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood has more than one way in and out. So let's take a look at this one. Such a beautiful neighborhood. I used to live in North. real rural neighbors and just that's so it sounds like that there's, some attention being paid now outside of the original 2-mile radius. All right, I'm going to stop this and go back because I want to see. All right, let's play. This one has a couple different views here. Let's take a look at this. I'm looking at the timestamp in the lower right-hand corner. That's the one, 2:31. That that vehicle going quickly is the one right after Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker stopped sinking. 2:36 a.m. That could be the same one coming back from that direction. It's hard to see exactly which way the road is going, but the point is this ring cam is sitting on, a path that somebody leaving Nancy Guthrie's house, could have taken to leave the area without any, street lights or that's at 4:07 a.m. Let me stop this and let's see. Here's some still footage right here. Let's see, the timestamps in the minute-long video shows clips recorded a dozen cars between 12:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. on February 1st. And then, of course, it looks like there could be some folks going back. Let me go back to see if there's anything here of the latest. Homeowners come forward with more video as Nancy Guthrie probe drags on. And yesterday we saw a lot of, it looked like what people seemed to think were like prosecutors walking around, people in suits. It seems to be that, right before there's some chatter about releasing the home back to the family, and it would make sense that the prosecutors, anyone from maybe the district attorney's office and FBI might be wanting to go through the home just one last time. So it makes sense, to see people there. Who knows what's really going on in the case? Tuesday morning, Savannah Guthrie again, announced a reward of up to $1 million for the recovery of her mother. And I think that definitely could have brought a lot of, additional tips out, which is exactly what they need because things had kind of quieted down a little bit. So getting this ring cam could be huge because there are people in the FBI that their job is, or they're just specialists with vehicles. and they can take a look at the cars going back and forth. They probably can clean up this video quite a bit. I don't know if they can freeze it and zoom in on license plates, but they definitely at this point could do a geofence from cell towers at this exact time and find out which cell phone numbers were in that area at that exact moment. And they can, hopefully trigger in on somebody in a specific car. Let's see, retired NYPD detective and national security expert Pat Brosnan reviewed the video with his team. He tells Fox News Digital they believe the vehicle seen at 2:36 a.m. is a Kia Soul, based on its slanted roof, window design, and rear quarter glass. He also noted the vertical brake lights. So that could be a huge lead. This could be a huge break in, connecting the Walmart Wrangler. I call him the Walmart Wrangler because he's all decked out in Walmart clothes. But there are 12 cars passing. And looks like some of their art. These are things, looks like this from tomorrow. Over 1,600 new tips have been sent to the FBI since Savannah Guthrie announced up to $1 million reward. So, I mean, between all of this, we don't know exactly what they have, but it would be amazing if they could line up one of these vehicles. And again, it could be a nothing burger. I mean, people are driving out that late all the time, especially being a weekend. People are coming and going. Who knows what it is and who it is. But, the timing is very interesting because if this house is 7 minutes to Nancy's home and there happens to be a car driving at a high rate of speed past this address, in a time frame that would make sense, this could absolutely be somebody coming from Nancy's house and taking, a route that maybe is a little bit less traveled, a little bit quieter street. And, from what we saw of the Walmart Wrangler, now that we know that he was there January 11th, he obviously was scoping out the house, and he could have also been using that time to figure out different ways to and from the house, all of the above. And I know that the sheriff has mentioned that they are actually leaning away from a burglary gone wrong. And I think that the FBI, I think they're still looking at this being some sort of a kidnapping. There's a lot of questions. What was this guy doing in the house for 40 minutes? Why her? And, if it is, targeting, obviously it's targeting Nancy. And they had obviously been doing some recon. It just makes me think again that this could be somebody who knew somebody who worked in her home, that already had an idea of something to do or to take. But there's also some talk that when Savannah said that her mother was taken from her bed in the middle of the night, I mean, we don't know how this person got into the home. I assumed it was through the front door, but they could have also gone in through the sliding door that could have been into the master bedroom or Nancy's bedroom and gone back out through the front door to a waiting vehicle if the vehicle was out front. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but it would be so amazing if that exact Kia Soul would definitely be a huge lead. Let's watch this video again of these cars. I mean, just, it's amazing. People have these ring cams, and even in the middle of the desert. No one is anonymous in the middle of a dark, dark desert. No one is going to get away with anything anymore because so many people have these ring cameras. And the timestamp, it's amazing. We heard that, unfortunately, they're having problems with let me get rid of this, the DNA from the house, because it's not conducive. They can't separate it, so it's not viable for them to run through CODIS. But you know what? I mean, and that's a setback, but at the same time, we don't even know if this guy's in CODIS. So everybody's waiting for this DNA to go through CODIS, but it may be a nothing burger. And the thing is we also, we don't know who the DNA belongs to. It could end up being nothing. I mean, it's hard to say. So maybe this ring camera is going to be the break that they really absolutely need. And things have been really quiet lately. So this would be amazing, especially if they're getting any tips, somebody's rolling over. I mean, $1 million is a lot of money, change anybody's life. And I don't know. I think I might probably turn on someone too for $1 million if I knew that they'd done something bad. So anyway, I just wanted to come on and give this information. This is really hopeful. And, there's lots of smart people who can look at these vehicles and the timestamps and can figure out, clean up the images, maybe zero in on a license plate, or they can geofence cell phones in that area near that cell tower at that exact time. The time frame definitely looks right as far as when her pacemaker disconnected from her phone to when a car is at a high rate of speed going past this neighbor's house. Just amazing. You can't do anything anymore, folks. If people think that they're going to do crimes, they're wrong. You can't. So I think everybody is, like me, and I can't stop following this story because there's just no one can figure out what has happened here. And, again, there might be a lot more things going on. My hair is blowing in the wind. There might be a lot more that the FBI and the sheriff's department knows that they're not telling us, but nothing makes sense. And I mean, is it a burglary gone wrong? Was it a real abduction? Who would do this to her? Why were they casing her on January 11th? Was anything really taken from the home? It's just crazy. And nothing in this case makes sense at all. And it's just heartbreaking to see something like this happen. Everyone, I'm sure, sits and thinks about, what if this was my mother? I just don't know what I would even do. But let me pull the map up here for another second while we're hanging out. You know, I don't know if anyone here thinks that this was a burglary gone wrong or if it was a targeted abduction. If you think it was a burglary gone wrong, put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious to see if you think that this was a burglary gone wrong, if you can put a 1 in the chat. If you think this was a targeted abduction, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just curious to see what people are thinking. If you think it's a burglary gone wrong, put a 1 in the chat. And if you think it was an abduction, targeted abduction, put a 2 in the chat. You know, I've gone back and forth. You know, my first thought was, oh, this is an abduction, or I'm sorry, this is a burglary gone wrong. But I don't know. This could have been a targeted abduction. But, you know, with the reward going up to $1 million, it's, you know, the person who was sending those notes to TMZ, let me look and see if they've got anything, because they usually have some inside. Let me just check their site. TMZ, it's funny, they haven't gotten any of those demand letters since the reward went up. So maybe that guy, I know that was a total hoax. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, they do have some updates here. I don't think that, let me just put this on. Nah, it's just the same stuff. I'll put it on here. It's the same. This is TMZ. Sometimes they have good stuff. Look how fast that guy's going. That guy's going fast. I'm trying to look at the timestamp on that one because that guy there, 2:36. He's going fast. That could be the car. And again, I don't know what direction this is. But I think that the someone's interested in this, because as soon as this person released it, everyone's picking this up. Let's see, New York Post has it, Fox has it, I'm sure News Nation has it, NBC has it, TMZ has it. That's crazy. So anyway, let's just hope that something happens. And, you know, I know the Guthries are pretty sure that their mother is probably passed on. But, you know, at this point, I don't even know if the Guthries, I'm sure that they want justice to be served to whoever has done this to their mother. But I mean, they seem like such, you know, religious, loving people. I just wonder if, you know, I think they just want their mom's body back, which is exactly what I would want. You know, justice can come later, let the police do their job, but for right now, I just need that closure. And I really, really am praying that, you know, something like this could be the big break that they need. Again, I'm not seeing any comments. I've got quite a few people here. If you think that this situation with Nancy Guthrie was a burglary gone wrong, put a 1 in the chat. And if you think this was a targeted abduction, put a 2 in the chat. I will start it off with, I think it was a targeted abduction. So I'm going to put a 2 in the chat. And I'm sure, I think that they said that they'd had like 1,600 leads come in. 1,600 tips since the reward increased. And again, people are going to be busy answering the phones, but that's their job. And if somebody has really seen something, they could just need one little thing. It could be just this one video of a Kia Soul at 2:36 a.m., which is the time frame it would take to drive from Nancy Guthrie's house to this person's home on Camino Real. Looking at the map, if it takes 7 minutes, and we know that her pacemaker disconnected from her Apple Watch or iPhone at 2:28, and then a car is seen at 2:36. I mean, I don't know how long. Yeah, because so when you've got something disconnecting, that could mean that she was already out of the house and had been put in a car and was driving down the road, because it takes, you have to get a fair distance away from something in order for the Bluetooth to stop syncing. So they very well could have been driving away, and it's not like from 2:28 they left the house. I think from 2:28 they were sitting in a car and were driving away at 2:28 a.m. And that's when her pacemaker disconnected from her phone or the iWatch, whatever Apple device you're looking at. And then 7 minutes to this home on Camino Real, which is right where my mouse is. 7 minutes there, and then taking kind of this quieter path down to East River Road. That would actually track. And reports are that the Sheriff's Department and or FBI, they did a 2-mile radius canvas search. And this home is 2.5 miles away, it makes sense. Why wouldn't they have anybody all the way down check their Ring camera? And apparently the Ring people, I guess they use an app. If you use an app, I don't have a Ring camera, but I would imagine you have an app in order to, talk to people. If you're not home, you get a notification on your phone from the app. You can see people at your front door. You could talk to delivery people. So apparently people got a notification to check their Ring footage between, I think it was like January 1st and February 1st for anything unusual. And these people happened to pull their footage from that night around the same time. And I think they've been sitting around for literally 25 days going, why hasn't anybody come to our house? Why hasn't anyone reached out? And so I'm not sure how long ago these people released this to the media, because it seems like everyone's just being inundated right now with this Ring camera footage. And if you're just joining me right now, I'll play it again. We have an address on a street called Camino Real that's 2.5 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home, and it's outside of the 2-mile radius that the Pima County Sheriff's Department originally searched and canvassed. This Ring footage right here, and I'll just turn it on because there's no sound, is a home 2.5 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home, and it's on a street that could be used going to and leaving Nancy Guthrie's home. And at 2:36 a.m., there is a car going at a high rate of speed in front of this home, in front of this Ring camera. And the home is like, well, here's, 2:36, they're exactly 7 minutes away from Nancy Guthrie's home, and 2:36 a.m. would be the exact time a car leaving Nancy Guthrie's home, around the time that Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker stopped syncing with her iPhone or iWatch. And again, here's the timeline. 2:28 a.m. They know exactly 2:28 a.m. The pacemaker app shows disconnect from a phone. And then this footage, I've got so many windows here. Oop. There we go. Let me shut this one off. I'll get rid of that one. 2:36 a.m. There's a car on this camera at a high rate of speed that could very well be the person who had Nancy in the vehicle. And it's an SUV. The car being seen at 2:36 a.m. There is a New York Police Department detective who works, in this field, and I guess looks at different cars on video and has expertise in this. And he's saying that it looks like a Kia Soul at 2:36 a.m., which, all right, I don't know. I still have to think about the Range Rover that was put on the back of the flatbed that was towed from the Culvers, and that they had the tarp while they looked like they were getting some evidence, or they were doing forensic swabs or something in the back of that Range Rover. Made me think that maybe they had seen a Range Rover on a ring cam in the neighborhood, but I don't know. And the fact that the investigation was within 2 miles, I would think that they would go any home along those routes, in or out. I would definitely want to have people turn in their footage anytime around that time, because that's where you get the vehicle. Obviously, somebody had a vehicle parked outside Nancy's house. So I don't know, but I'm hoping that this is the big break that they need. If you're just joining me again, I am Courtney C. I am the host of Crime Crunchies. You are my little hungry crunchies. And if you have joined me for this live tonight, if you wouldn't mind, please liking the video, subscribing, turn on notifications. I do go live quite often. I've been covering this case for Nancy Guthrie since it began, since February 1st. And I've been following along. There have been some days that have been quiet. You never know when something's going to break. Watching Brian Enton today, apparently they have blocked all vehicles off of Nancy Guthrie Street, which I'm surprised that they let it go this long, personally. But I mean, because it looked like what am I trying to think? Tailgate parties, out the football. Good evening, Patty. Look like tailgate parties, so with all the media and the tents going up and down Nancy Guthrie Street. Well, I guess that they're not letting vehicles on the street anymore. They've put no trespassing signs. I think that they are going to be turning the home back over to the Guthrie family, and that's why we saw people in suits yesterday. I'm hearing that it was probably a prosecutor, DA. While the home is, the family doesn't have the home, it makes sense for them to go get a good look at the scene so that they can walk through it. So they probably are kicking the media off the street so that if the family needs to go in and do anything, that they have the privacy with which to do that. I feel bad that Annie hasn't been able to, she hasn't been able to be in her home since they left and they're sequestered in a gated community somewhere else. She hasn't been able to go back to her home because of the swarms of everybody, the YouTubers and the TV folks. And so again, if you're just joining me tonight, Sorry, I have allergies so bad right now. Let me go back on this. So what I've got playing, there's no sound to it, but this is basically a ring cam. Let me read the article again. It's a ring cam from a home off Camino Real. I'll just go back to here. So there's a home that is 2.5. So the interesting let me put this up. So the interesting thing here is that the Pima County Sheriff's Department did a canvas/search within 2 miles of Nancy Guthrie's home. And this camera that we're seeing here is 2.5 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home. And they did get the notification to check their ring camera footage between January 1st and February 1st, which they did, but nobody came and talked to them about whether or not they got any footage. And we've seen FBI and Pima County Sheriff literally going door to door. They were doing literally a search of people and going through sheds. They were knocking on the doors. Can we go look in your backyard? Most people are like, yeah, come look in the backyard. But this home is 2.5 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home, and nobody came to look at this footage. And so somehow, either today or something, this family finally released it to the media. I'm sure that there are neighbors that didn't want to show the footage, because there's a privacy issue here, But I think that this family is definitely being visited by somebody now, because we don't know if there's a vehicle that passes at 2:36 a.m. And if you look at the map of Nancy Guthrie's home, and here's the ring camera footage location, it's about 7 minutes drive between these two. And at 2:36, there is a car that's going in front of this home with the camera at a high rate of speed. And if we look at the timeline, Nancy's pacemaker disconnects from the app at 2:28 a.m. And this isn't someone, sorry, this isn't someone just getting in a car or leaving the front door at 2:28 a.m. This is somebody getting in a car and actually leaving far enough away that the pacemaker stops syncing. So it's absolutely plausible that, let me play this one. I don't know if this one has any. This one's a little bit slower. And so apparently, let's see if it's on. Well, I know I can't. That so many things going on right now. So yes, so a lot going on, and it's hard to say. Oops, am I muted? Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. Oh my goodness. Oh, goody. Thank you so much. Yes. So I've got several people here now. I'm just wondering if you think that this was a burglary gone wrong. If you want to put a 1 in the chat. If you think this was a targeted abduction, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just wondering because I don't know if this was a burglary gone wrong. I can't decide. I go back and forth. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that this was a burglary gone wrong, and put a 2 in the chat if you think it was an abduction. I'm seeing a lot of 2s. Yeah. I think I put 2 earlier. I'm thinking now it was a targeted abduction, but again, we have to just wonder, and this is just me. So this is my thinking about this whole thing. Let's say that this is somebody who is targeting Nancy related to Savannah Guthrie, okay? Because why Nancy? Why abduct Nancy? Okay. If they wanted to get back at Savannah Guthrie, or they wanted to get money out of Savannah Guthrie, why would they abduct an 84-year-old woman who needs a cane to walk, has a pacemaker, is on medication? Why not? And this isn't an idea of like, oh yeah, go do this. And wouldn't want this to happen to anyone, but why wouldn't they abduct the sister who is easier to take care of? If you're going to abduct somebody, why not take the sister who can walk and is healthier? But then I go, if it's a burglary gone wrong and something bad got out of hand, why not just leave Nancy there? Why take her? And I mean, I've heard people talk about, well, when you're panicking, if something got out of hand and an accident happened and you're panicking, you lose your mind, you grab them, you go. Just does not make any sense. So again, just reaching out to everybody. This is a new channel, and I'm really focusing on building it up. If you could please subscribe and like and hit the notification. I am going live. I'm covering the Nancy. I'm watching the Corey Richins trial as well. I don't know if so the thing with Nancy, and I don't know all, and I'm not going to get this right, but apparently I think that there was someone married to somebody who could scrub information off the internet. So that's what people were wondering, if maybe it wasn't linked to something else. But then other people were talking about, interviews that Savannah had done and things like that. Plus, she was also supposed to be going to the Olympics. It's just hard to say. But, whoever this was, they have, images of this person without the backpack. I call him the Walmart Wrangler, and because all his gear is Walmart, but he had the same outfit. He just didn't have the big backpack on. January 11th, walking up to Nancy's home, he obviously was casing the joint. He looked very calm, which makes me think that he had somebody on the inside, which makes me think that maybe he knew somebody, maybe a healthcare worker or the pool people or someone, because they look very calm going up to Nancy's home. And the second time when they got him on the ring cam up front, the Nest camera. So yeah, so that's pretty much it right now. Is they've got a vehicle on at a home, and maybe we'll see something. They can clean. They have technology to clean this up and make it really clear. Maybe they'll get a license plate. They can geofence cell phones. They can geofence cell phones and maybe find somebody who was in the area. And this could be the break that they need. It's just one little thing can keep it going. So anyway, I am going to head out unless anything really changes. I will be coming back on and covering things as we go, because I cannot wait to see something happen. And that something is for me, my number one thing is that the Guthries get their mother back in, her body. I'm just hoping that they get that kind of closure. And then secondly, figure out who did this and why. I don't know that we'll ever know why, but at least get somebody to have some justice for this senseless situation. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I really, really appreciate everybody who commented and responded in the chat. I really like interacting with folks. Again, my name is Courtney C. with Crime Crunchies. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell. And I will be back soon with more live comment. Until then, take care, and you guys crunch, 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 my hungry little crunchies. Have a great night. Be safe. Bye-bye.